So Giannis Antetokounmpo just outshone Victor Wembanyama by dropping 59 points in his game. Yes, not 50, 59 points. And Glenn, you have been incredibly lucky. While you were down double digits, I had a video ready to go, and I was like, you know what? I thought it was over. Made a rant video mid-game about, the coach, Glenn, and titled Giannis Doesn't Deserve This. There'll be a time where something bad happens with Glenn this season, and, I can make that rant, but today is not that day. You might be the single luckiest man in the entire NBA right now, Mr. Glenn Rivers. But Giannis Antetokounmpo in an overtime win. You needed overtime to beat the Detroit Pistons, taking your record to 4-8 for the season. And of those 4 teams, Detroit being the best of them. You have only beaten the 3 worst teams in the NBA and the Pistons. And not only that, it was over. Ron Holland walks up to the free throw line. He walks up to the free throw line. I'm telling you, man walks up to the free throw line. And he free throws to win the game. 1 second to go. Tie game in regulation. Brick. Great stuff there by the rookie. Great stuff there by the rookie himself. Either way, though, that was a, not the best outcome for the Detroit Pistons, having your rookie out here just shooting bricks from the line. But Tobias Harris showing that he is, the worst contract ever. Jalen Duren, they just didn't give him the ball. Malik Beasley got hot. Didn't do much down a stretch. And Kay Cunningham, who started off poorly, ended up with 35 points, 11 assists, and 7 boards. So impressive game from him. But by the end of the game, they were playing Wendell Moore Jr. and Marcus Sasser. Now, Marcus Sasser, these guys are playing big minutes in this game. I'm sorry. This Detroit Pistons team had no right. I don't even care. Don't care how weak this Milwaukee Bucks team was. Don't care that Dame didn't play. They had no right. Absolutely no right to beat Milwaukee. But Milwaukee suck. Milwaukee absolutely suck. But again, Ron Holland's a 91% free throw shooter. He's a 91% free throw shooter and goes brick. Mental. But Giannis Antetokounmpo with 59 points. And the most impressive thing, he was 16 of 17 from the line. And I've got a theory. When people start going 1, 2, 3, that gets Giannis into his rhythm for the free throw. I'm sorry, if I'm an away team, I know it was in Milwaukee, but we heard a couple of people still chatting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think he gets used to that. I think the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 helps Giannis Antetokounmpo. If I'm an away team, on the big scoreboard, flash random numbers. You can get into rhythm when someone goes 1, 2, 3, 4. You know how you can't get into rhythm? Imagine you're shooting free throws. 1, 7, 3, 9, 46, 73, 91. Brick. That's how you don't get into rhythm. You count 1 to 10 on them on the line. They get used to that. It's part of the routine. Shout random numbers at him. I want an away team to do that. Just shout random numbers at him. Or when Giannis is at the line, or heck, when other teams are at the line if you're wanting to put them off, just have on the Jumbotron random words. Just throw random words on the Jumbotron. They have nothing to do with each other. And the whole crowd screams out the random words. I'm telling you, we fuck with people's heads. I'm telling you, that's what teams should be doing. But Brook Lopez was huge as well. He had 29 points, 5 of 8 from 3, and he came up clutch in overtime. Giannis, my entire video being saying Giannis doesn't deserve this, the whole thing was man, he's gonna drop 50 and he's still gonna lose. He's gonna drop 50 and he's still gonna lose to the Pistons, the Detroit Pistons of all teams. But he is crazy. Giannis Antetokounmpo, and the worst part is that You could argue Giannis is having like one of the best starts to a season he's ever had individually. He is averaging 31, and this I don't think the 59 points have like registered yet. There's a good chance he's probably averaging he's played 10 games and he scored 30 points above average. So that'll add 3 points per game to his average. So he's going to be averaging 34 points, 12 boards, 5 assists, and his team cannot win. Why can they not win? Because they've got Glenn. Simply put, like, you can make all the excuses, like, Dame's injured, Middleton's injured. I mean, this team should be winning way more than they should. I'm sorry, like, it is, if you want to lose, you hire Glenn. Like, if I'm an NBA coach and or an NBA GM, and I'm like trying to make sure that my championship window closes and that, I have absolutely no chance of winning anything ever, I'm hiring Glenn. But at the same time, this isn't really the Glenn rant video, which is annoying because the Glenn rant video is a funny one. But I'm just going to wait till Milwaukee lose another bad game and then we can rant on Glenn. But Giannis, we can forget about the coach because Giannis Antetokounmpo has made us forget about the coach. At the end of the day, no matter who the coach is, players win games. That is basketball at the end of the day. Players will always win the games. And that is what happened. And players will lose the games we want to talk about Ron Holland. Players can lose the games too. Yeah, if you guys agree, subscribe. We are trying to hit 25K subscribers by the end of the day. 34 would be insane. But yeah, an unbelievable game. But like, we also do have to take into account they needed overtime to beat a half-healthy Pistons team who are off a back-to-back where they went to overtime last night. And I get it, they weren't healthy themselves, but still. A Pistons team. This is the Pistons. They lost 27 straight games last year. This is the Pistons. The Detroit Pistons. Like, this is the Pistons. The Pistons. Like, I feel bad for Pistons fans, but you had those, 6 years in a row where you made the Eastern Conference Finals. That's enough Eastern Conference Finals for 20 years. But this is the Pistons. You needed Giannis to drop 60 to beat the Pistons. The Pistons! Milwaukee, you might make the playoffs because you're in the Eastern Conference. You might make the conference finals because you're in the Eastern Conference. Heck, Detroit could go and fuck around and make the conference finals with how bad the Eastern Conference is. But I've never thought I'd see today where we would need Giannis Antetokounmpo to play one of the greatest games of his career to beat the Detroit Pistons in overtime. There's no Ben Wallace coming through that door. There's no Rip Hamilton coming through that door. There's no Sheed Wallace coming through that door. The Detroit Pistons. And not only that, Isaiah Stewart got himself ejected. Oh my God. This is the Tobias Harris Pistons. And you needed Giannis to drop 60 to beat them. Come on. Come on, Glenn. You got to do a better job coaching.